Welcome back to Fortunes and Friendship. This is a podcast where we believe that your most valuable asset is your network. I'm your host, Corey McNabb, and each week we'll connect with inspiring guests who are making waves in their fields. Together, we'll explore how collaboration and friendship can lead to incredible opportunities and success. Each episode, you'll hear from entrepreneurs, creative investors, and thought leaders who will share what they're currently working on and how we can join forces to create something amazing. Whether you're looking to expand your own network or discover new ways to collaborate, you'll find actionable insights and fresh ideas right here. So let's settle in and remember, it's not who you know that counts, but who knows you. That being said, let's introduce our special guest, Mr. Mitch Hardington. Mitch, how you doing, man?
Good, Corey. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. So, Mitch, this is kind of really the first time we're getting to chat. Audience, I'm learning just as much as you are. So, Mitch, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I started back in real estate back in 2007, kind of like fresh out of high school. I am currently working in the development space. I just recently got married.
Congrats.
Yeah. My friends and family are probably what mean the most to me. And then my business is kind of what comes second, driving forward that new life that I'm creating for myself.
Okay. So when you say recently got married, how recent?
As of today's recording date, 15 days ago.
Wow. What are you doing, bro? You're not on your honeymoon? What's going on?
Yeah, so we actually live somewhere where it's pretty cold. So at this time of year, it's like a weird transition between it's not really spring anymore, it's not really winter. So we decided that in probably January, February, we were going to take off to somewhere warm and tropical, maybe go across to the Mediterranean and spend kind of like 2 weeks honeymooning at that time when we don't really want to be here because it's like minus 50.
Where do you live?
So I live actually just across the border in Canada. I live in Calgary, Alberta. So I'm just north of Idaho, I believe, and Montana.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that then. Yeah. Get away while it's cold.
Right.
Man.
And like right now, it's not terribly cold. Like I was walking around in shorts yesterday. Like it gets a little bit chilly at nighttime. So we're like, we could go away now, but we're not really escaping anything. Yes, the honeymoon is great, but why don't we just go when it's like cold and nobody wants to be here? You can't go outside because your eyelashes freeze. So at that time, we'll just get up and leave.
15 days ago. So what date was that? That should be fresh on your mind, man.
It is, but I don't even know what date is today. let me check my what's today's date? The 28th. I got married on the 13th.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. 6 years ago on the 14th is when I got married.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
congratulations. That's amazing.
Yeah, we went straight after our wedding. The next morning we flew out to Jamaica.
Oh yeah.
And stayed there for 2 weeks.
Beautiful.
I think 2 weeks is wonderful if maybe you're traveling a lot.
Yep.
Like during that time. Staying in one spot for 2 weeks is a little long.
Mm-hmm.
I would say about 10 days is good because after day 10, we had done everything. And so we were just kind of like,
yeah.
I mean, we were young, so we were kind of like, well, I guess we'll just keep drinking. I don't know. Like, what else?
Yeah. Oh, man. Another day. Oh, darn.
But no, it was a good time. We initially were like, oh, we'll come back on our 5-year anniversary. Well, that didn't happen. But I will make sure we get down there at some point soon.
Yeah. I love that. I totally agree with the 10-day thing. After 10 days, I go kind of stir crazy, but my wife and I are travel bugs. So we usually do the Airbnb thing and kind of hop. We'll stay 3 to 5 days and go somewhere else for 3 to 5 days, go somewhere else just to kind of see as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it more enjoyable that way, I find.
Yeah. No, that's not a bad idea. I think next time we do like a long vacation, we might try something like that. But now we've got 2 kids with a third on the way.
Ooh, so congratulations.
That adds a little bit to the travel expenses.
Yep.
But awesome, man. No, that's congrats. I love it. I know you're fresh into it. I'm assuming this is your first marriage?
No, it's actually my second marriage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know anything about the first one, but I'm a proponent of it. So way to go. Proud of you, man.
Yeah.
So family comes first. I
Yep.
resonate with that. I got it. Business is second. So
Mhm.
what specifically is your business and what do you focus on? That type of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm doing a few different things right now. So the main source of business is real estate investing. So I work with various capital partners, and we get them double-digit returns that are backed by real estate, and that can be in a host of different things. I really love, and I would say specialize, but I hate the word specialize. I have a passion. I have a love for new construction, ground up development. So that's
Mhm.
where a lot of my love and my passion comes through. But we also do value add in the multifamily space, RV parks, mobile homes. Um, so
Okay.
those are kind of the two things there. And then at the same time, I'm starting a few other businesses in like the service areas, which can just be, end up supporting my business and hopefully other investors in terms of, HVAC and appliance repair and these types of things.
Gotcha. Okay. So are you mainly a capital raiser or what's your I guess defining role within your business?
Yeah, I'm the operator. So I have been operating and building since, like I said, in the intro, since 2007. So when I started in real estate, I worked as a construction laborer. I picked up garbage and I swept construction sites. That was the glory of my time. And um, I really got to emphasize that sometimes people think that, starting at the bottom, you don't really need to do, which, and a lot of times can help. But I found that actually during that time when I did that for, it was about a year and a half total time, I learned so much just watching the successful people, like watching the boss, learning how they interact with customers, just kind of being that fly on the wall. Like, hey, what are you doing? It's like, sweeping. What are you doing? And just kind of learning from them that way. And then I progressed in that company up to the senior project manager, where I managed anywhere from 6 to 8 multi-million dollar builds at a time. So we really specialized in the with affluent business owners. So we were building $5 to $10 million homes, and like I said, 6 to 8 of them at a time. So it really grew my ability to see a whole project, all the inner workings, the ins and outs, kind of how things get put together. And that was the launch of my kind of real estate investing career.
Gotcha. Okay. And was that all in Canada?
Yeah, so that was in Canada, and then I transitioned into kind of doing fix and flips, and then from there I then transitioned into the US, which is where all my business is done now.
Gotcha. Okay. So as an operator, I know you mentioned multifamily.
Mhm.
Is that kind of your bread and butter? Your like multifamily apartment complexes, or do you venture out into like mobile home parks? And I guess what's your scope?
Yeah, so I would say that the two things we do really well still is I have a partner and we're building new construction homes, single family still. So that's a main
Oh,
core part of my business. And then I have another branch where we do multifamily, kind of that 12 to 20 range is really where we're focusing in on right now, raising capital for those really good value add projects. Um, I haven't done a mobile home park yet. It's on my radar of something that I've been really looking into, but I don't think that I quite know enough yet to confidently go to my capital partners and say, "Hey, let's put our money towards this. It's going to work out." And the same thing for RV parks. I'm still actively learning about RV parks and how they're beneficial, how to buy them, where not to buy them. So to kind of sum up your question, yes, multifamily is really where we are right now. We're growing and scaling. We're starting to look at bigger buildings, kind of the 50 to 70 range, and we're still actively building homes.
gotcha. Okay. Um, so, and I apologize if these questions seem redundant. I just want to make sure that I understand what you're telling me. If you could, I guess, kind of walk us through like an ideal situation of how. So, do you go through and you're looking? I know you said you like to develop. That's kind of your main thing. So, are you out there looking to buy land and you develop it? Do you have people just coming to you say, "Hey, I got this acreage I don't want anymore"? I guess kind of walk us through how a deal comes across your table, and then kind of the thought process of how to decide what you're going to put there, or if you're just buying your
Yeah,
whole system.
that's a great question. And it comes down to the title in your show. It's all about relationships. So I constantly am building relationships. I'm the relationship guy. I think the more value that I can add to people's life, the more that will come back to me in some form or another. So in terms of getting a deal, I am always trying to build relationships with realtors and wholesalers. I myself don't necessarily have the time to go out and physically look. So I have a very clear defined buy box that I send out to wholesalers, or anytime a new wholesaler reaches out to me like, hey, I've got a deal. I'm like, awesome. This is the buy box that I'm buying right now. If you find that, bring it to me and I more than likely will be your buyer for it. So it really just comes down to nurturing those relationships and being like, this is what I need. And if you find it, then I'll buy it from you.
Okay. So how specific is your buy box then? Or if you just want to share your buy box, if you know it off the top of your head.
Yeah. So for like multifamily, for example, we're doing units between 2 and 20 in a C building in an A or B neighborhood, something that has low rents or has been undermanaged by retired or wanting to retire landlords. It has to be in an area where there's low crime, has to have transportation nearby and close to some type of major amenity like a hospital or a university. So that's our multifamily buy box. And then our land buy box for houses is really any, it's called bare land with services already at the property line in a neighborhood where there has been at least 2 to 3 sales within the last 12 months.
Okay. So your land one's a little more vague, but still pretty specific.
Yeah.
Gotcha. This really gives me an idea because we created a buy box. Me and my partner, we're trying to buy creative deals from wholesalers and stuff like that. But it's kind of vague because we're just starting out. We don't really, fully know exactly what we want, I guess. So, but that helps me understand. Okay. I guess. Well, that's your full-time job, right?
No, I have a full-time job still. So I'm a police officer. So I do that. And then because we work a rotating shifts pattern. So I get lots of days off, like weekdays, weekends, where I get to actually like sit down and do a lot of my business work. And then I start my mornings at 5 o'clock in the morning. I get a little bit of work done before I go to work. And then I usually work until about 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Gotcha. So, how in Canada, how's the rivalry between firefighters and cops?
I think it's the same no matter where you go. We've got nothing but mutual respect for each other, but any chance we get to take a jab at one another, like there it is.
Yeah, I wanted to clear that up before I tried taking a jab at you. Yeah. No, I'm a firefighter, obviously.
Amazing. Yeah.
Stash, if that
I can tell by the stash. Yeah. You just got to curl it a little bit more.
I know. I'm still working on it. It's really temperamental.
Yeah.
I'm still working on softening it, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm
jealous
you get to at least have that.
I know, right? It's because it's the, like people say, like firefighters got real soft hands and police are the men of the world. So.
Oh, goodness gracious. There you go. That's exactly what they say, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Awesome. Well, you just got married. I don't want to, ruin your mentality. Want you to be happy. Okay. So don't let your wife near any fire stations. That being said, okay. So you're working, you do a rotating schedule, and you're still able to connect with wholesalers, connect with realtors, get these deals sent your way. I guess what's the deal flow that you've got coming in, say an average per month?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say I see anywhere from 3 to 5 deals, like real deals, like a week that I actually underwrite and analyze. I'm bombarded with probably 10, 15, kind of 20 deals a week that are like someone's like, hey, the single family home might be what you're looking for. It's like, delete. No, thank you. That's not what I'm buying right now. But then that's where I believe that the nurturing part of the relationship comes out, and you say, hey, thanks for sending this to me. Just out of clarity, here's my buy box. And I have it typed up. So I literally just reply to that wholesaler. This is what I'm looking for. And if they continue just to kind of send me junk, then I just unsubscribe from whatever list I happen to be on, or I just move it to the junk. So it's not crowding my inbox. But I find that when you're really open and honest with people and show them like love, kindness, and respect, they're more than willing to go, oh, okay, I didn't know that. And then they actually start sending you things that get closer and closer as you work through that. Like, hey, this was close, but not quite what I was looking for. Here's why. This is more what I'm looking for. And then it gets better and better.
Okay, gotcha. So actually, here's a question. This one's strictly for me. As a buyer, someone sends you a deal, and for the most part, it works in your buy box.
Yep.
Do you go into it with the plan of whatever asking price they're telling you, that's what you're buying, or do you try and negotiate down a little bit?
It honestly depends on the deal. If it's a creative deal and the person is willing to do like favorable terms for me, I will just give them what they're asking for. So for example, right now we're underwriting a $2.2 million multifamily property, and the seller has already said that they will carry a large percentage of the property. They said they'll start at 80%, but they bought it cash outright. So my first kind of discussion with them is, okay, well, your property's not worth 2.2. Here's why. And I kind of outline, there's not much room for lift in terms of rents, like right off the hop to bring the NOI up. There's not really much I can do with expenses in year one. It's going to come year two, year three. So I will give you your 2.2 as long as you carry like a 0% seller finance at 90%. I'll bring you 10% on closing. And then we have something like a 5-year balloon with an automatic 5-year deferral. If we haven't been able to raise the rents enough over that time, just because of market value, then it goes to 10 years. That's generally how I like to do it, because if I can see that there's potential in a property, like why haggle with somebody and lose a deal over a couple $100,000?
Gotcha. Okay. So obviously your deals are slightly different, right? We're going after single family. You're doing mostly multifamily.
Yep.
So is that more common in multifamily that, say, a wholesaler brings you a deal? Do you go and negotiate with the seller or talk to the seller, or do you just deal with the wholesaler?
So in my experience, I've only ever just dealt directly with the wholesaler.
Okay.
But that's just the relationships that I have developed in that space. But I do have friends that wholesalers will bring them a deal and they will literally skip trace back to the original owner and talk with them direct. And they'll say something like, hey, I know you're wholesaling with this person. I would just like to negotiate terms with you. I'll still make sure the wholesaler gets paid, but this is kind of what I'm looking for. Would you accept that kind of deal?
Gotcha. Okay. Excuse me. So in that scenario you just talked about, was that direct to seller or was that a wholesaler?
So that was a direct to seller. So I usually go, I go direct to seller, I normally go direct to wholesaler, where my friends are going direct to seller and then looping in the wholesaler in the conversations to make sure that they're, don't feel like they're being skirted, but making sure that they still get paid on a deal.
Okay. So in your case, then, if there's a deal that comes across and it's, for the most part, it works, but it could use some tweaking, you just go back to the wholesaler, say, hey, see if you can get these changes. I'm guessing you kind of have the same conversation. Like, here's why it doesn't work. Here's how I would need it. And you can explain this. Or I guess if they really didn't feel comfortable, you could be like, yeah, just put me on the phone with them. Or have a 3-way call.
Yep.
I get that. Okay, cool. So do you have any projects that you're working on now, or whether it's development or acquisitions?
Yeah. So in terms of the development side, we literally about 2.5 months ago, I think it was about 2.5 months ago, we finished off our third multifamily build. So we had 3 multifamily builds going on at the same time. They were a 6-unit, a 6-unit, and an 8-unit. So we just finished those up. On the acquisition side, that $2.2 million project, I'm actively in negotiations on that one right now with the seller. We think that there's a deal that can be made there. I'm actively underwriting and negotiating a 57 unit RV park. We're just about to close. We're just waiting for some lawyer paperwork on a single family development. And then we have a subdivision, not a subdivision, a plot of land that we're going to subdivide and then build 2 houses on. And that's just kind of in the early stages right now. We're just working with the city and making sure we have the right capital partners for that one.
Gotcha. Okay. And so it sounds like you're doing a lot. Are you doing this all by yourself, or do you have a team?
No, I have a team. I have partners. So in every venture I have one main partner who I have partnered with. And generally it's, so like in my multifamily side, it's me and a fellow police officer who I met. He's out of the Portland area. We just became great buds. So we just decided we're going to do this together. And then on the building side, I have a guy who's been a fix and flipper for 10 years. So we kind of just brought our experience together to do this.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. So I'm trying to think, because I'm trying to, again, this whole podcast I'm selfish. It's for me, right?
Love it.
But I record it so that anybody watching will hopefully get value from it, or hopefully connect with you or with me and do business. But we're trying to kind of refine our systems. And so we were thinking, like there's a lot of parts. Obviously, we're newer to this. There's a lot I don't know. And I'm lucky enough that my partner is the type of person who he's just going to try something. And then when it screws up, he's like, all right, let me figure out why it screwed up. And I'm very much the hang on a second. I need to read all the books first. Like I need to know exactly how this thing works.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to move away from that, but it's a process. So I'm trying to understand. So you're an operator, you operate multifamily, you develop them, you reach out to wholesalers. You're kind of the connector or the visionary in a sense.
Yeah. I am totally the visionary. Yes.
Okay. Once you get a deal, you do the negotiations. Do you do the underwriting as well?
So I will do the preliminary underwriting, we call it whiteboard underwriting. So I'll look at the NOI, I'll look at the expenses. I'll be like, I don't think these are high. I'll kind of like inflate the numbers to like the expenses to give us wiggle room. And if it kind of checks out with my little whiteboard, then I'll send it off to an actual underwriter for verification.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's a third party, or is that your partner?
Nope. That's a third independent person. We pay them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you get it underwritten, figure out what you need, and then go into negotiations or probably somewhere in there. And then once the property or the land is bought, how involved are you with the, I guess, either managing process or the actual construction?
Still actively. So I will, because I have all the ground up experience, I will actively be involved just on a higher level. So I won't need to check in every single day. That kind of now transitions into my partner who is in the area. He's got like the contacts. So he will then do the day-to-day kind of stuff, the permit pulling, all of that. And then I will just kind of make sure that everything lines up with what my experience has told me in the ground up space. But it's kind of more of an over to him. But then we have like a weekly check-in of, hey, this is what's going on. This is what happened. Any puzzles that need to get solved? No, sweet. On to the next week.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. Well, I mean, geez, I feel like you laid it all out there. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is there something else you want to share with us? Because honestly, I'm starting to lose my questioning. So,
yeah, you know what? I think people get really discouraged in real estate because there's so many people out there who are posting on the internet about how great they're doing and how easy it's come. I think it's just super important to remember that everybody, one, has their own experience and their own background. Like you can take two people who have never even bought their own personal house before and stick them in the real estate space. The odds of them, succeeding as fast as somebody who was a commercial real estate broker for 20 years and then decided to start buying properties is going to be astronomically different.
Mm-hmm.
But even more so on that, I think your mindset is what is honestly the most important, because in any area of life, in any arena that you play in, like, being a firefighter, me being a cop, life will always throw some type of obstacle, and there's no difference in the real estate space. There's always ups, there's always downs. It's just so important to make sure that every day you're setting kind of your foundation first, like who I am, what I'm looking for. And then you're setting your own goals of like what winning looks like to you. And then once you set that, then go out and win the day. Right. If you don't have goals for what you want to get done that day, or you don't have objectives, at the end of the day, you're going to go, well, did I accomplish anything? Am I winning? Am I moving closer towards my goals, dreams, and aspirations? And if you're not, then you get discouraged and defeated. Where if you start the day with like, okay, these are the 3 things that I need to get done today, and you write them down and you actually do them, when you look back on the day, you can go, wow, I actually got accomplished. I actually moved closer towards my dream, when you get to build momentum and change your life.
Yeah, no, that is a big thing. I think because I do that to an extent. I have a little journal that I write down 5 things every day that I have to get done. But like, totally honest, this morning on the way home from the station, I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing the right thing? Is this actually helping my family? And it's like, I keep telling myself it's that latent potential, right? I'm on the bottom of that curve, and it's bound to start shooting up at some point, right? But it's just, it can get discouraging, because you have this, whether you state it or not, you have this like a mental time frame in your head.
Yep.
Okay, I just turned 30 this year. I figured I'd be way ahead of where I am by this point. But there's a lot of stuff that I'm working through that it's very slow progress, because working on yourself is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't like change, even though I always say that I love change. But what it actually really is I love making a lot of change all at the same time. If I'm going to change something, I might as well change everything.
Mm-hmm.
My wife hates that, by the way. She is very much let's take it one step at a time.
Yep.
And I'm like, why not? Like, we're having our 3rd kid, and every week I'm like, babe, let's sell it all and move, quit and go figure something else out. And she's like, no, we're having a kid. Let's handle this first.
Right.
So,
well, I'd like to challenge you on actually that mentality, because it got challenged. Someone challenged me with it, and it was extremely helpful, and maybe it'll bring some value to you. So the first part is somebody told me that if you want things in your life to change, you have to change things in your life. If you don't change anything, which goes down to your morning routine, to what you eat for lunch, to what you do when you get home, if you don't change those things, you cannot expect your life to be different. So you have to start changing something. And the second piece to that is, you can go look this up. I can't remember exactly whose quote this is, but he said a 1% growth every day actually compounds into a 39x at the end of 1 year. Where if you do nothing for 6 months and then get a 10x, and then nothing and get a 10x, that's only a 20x growth in a year. Where if you actually just got 1% better every single day for the entire year, you actually will outperform large growths.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the math. It works out. So 1% better every day is better than 1 10x or 1 20x jump once a year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I like the like I've heard that before. I don't remember who said it either. But the changing something makes total sense.
Yep.
So I think one of the best things. And actually, I love planning how I'm going to change things. I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make the plan and then I'll be like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then whether I do it or not, maybe a couple weeks later, I'm like, all right, that didn't work. Let me try something else.
Yep.
So, no, it's little things I got to work through.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
you totally can. One of the biggest things that I ever did for myself is I got myself a mindset coach, and it has drastically changed my life.
gotcha.
Yeah. It seems weird in our profession. It's like, oh, I don't need a mindset coach. Like I'm a cop. I've gone through some of the craziest things that people will never in their life experience what I've experienced. Like I've literally, what was it, 3 years ago, I stuck my hand down someone's throat, pinched off his carotid artery, and held onto it for 45 minutes till he got to a hospital, saved his life. Right? Very few people have ever done anything like that. Right? I went through some horrible PTSD after from it, but working with the right psychologists and then mindset coaches, I have transformed my life from thinking I could never start a business. Real estate was something that was dead after my divorce and dead in the past, to living this completely transformed life that I am now.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't even done something like that. So
yeah,
there you go. But see, and that is one thing I can't even say, but I run into burning buildings because we got cops that try and be firefighters all the time. So
right, so annoying.
Yeah, ridiculous. Actually, what makes us really mad is a lot of times they'll get there and have a fire extinguisher or something and put it out. Like, come on,
stay in your lane.
No, but in all seriousness, like nobody wants their house to catch on fire.
Yep.
But if it does, we do get to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, man, I appreciate that. That was good. Little bits of knowledge, or wisdom. Sorry, little bits of wisdom. And hopefully that'll help. That'll help.
Mm-hmm.
Well, man, I'm struggling to come up with any other questions. I know the last thing, obviously, we could sit here and, share war stories, but I don't think the audience necessarily wants to hear some of those. So,
yeah.
Yeah, unless there's something else, do you mind if we just move on to the last part of our show?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So just a few questions, pretty basic. First off, what made you decide to be on the podcast today?
Like I said, I'm a big relationship guy, and I'm big into providing value and giving feedback. So the more people that I get to share my story with, the more people that I get to reach out and help kind of achieve their goals and dreams, the happier I am.
Okay. Love it. Second question, what value can you provide to someone who say they need your help, and they want to reach out to you? What kind of value do you know that you can provide?
I can provide knowledge in the ground up construction space, the development space. If you've never structured a deal before, I can help you structure a deal. If you've never underwritten before, I can help you underwrite. If you've got mindset issues or like hurdles that you want to help overcome, I can help you walk through those types of things. Honestly, I'd love to be able to build more quality relationships with people. That's what I'm on a mission for in the next 3 months. So the more people I get to meet over that time, the better.
Gotcha. Awesome. Love it. What is something that you need to help you make money? So I guess on the flip side of that second question, what can someone bring value to you?
Yeah. So number one is deals. I'm looking for more multifamily people who can bring me quality multifamily deals, whether that's agents or wholesalers or even sellers themselves. If they're looking to offload their building, I am a buyer for that right now. And the second piece is specifically private money partners. So I'm looking for people who are looking to have like 401ks sit in buildings where they get a percentage of the equity. So more of a longer term play. Get that money working for you, earn some double-digit returns.
Okay. So you're looking for deals anywhere, or do you have specific locations?
Pretty much any landlord-friendly southern-ish state.
Southernish. Okay.
Yeah.
So Georgia.
Like Georgia. Yeah, we're actively looking in Georgia. And believe it or not, we're about to acquire a deal in Ohio. So I say southern-ish, but as long as it's landlord-friendly, that's the caveat.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, it's southern to you, so that works.
Right? It can literally be anywhere south.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Okay, and then what is some advice you would have for someone kind of newer into the game?
If you don't have a mentor, get a mentor. If you can't afford a professional mentorship, partner with somebody who's actively doing what you want to do, and be a fly on the wall. Learn from them, ask them questions, see how you can contribute to their deals. If you don't have any capital, maybe you can go out and find them the deals they're looking for, and then that's providing them value. If you have capital, partner with them in their deals, because now you get to learn the ins and outs of how to acquire all the way through the legal process. If you just want to be a passive investor, there's tons of groups out there who are just investing their money passively. So go join, one of those mentorship groups where you learn how to do the due diligence to make sure you're not lending to people who are going to steal your money.
Yeah, that's a good one. Awesome, Mitch. Well, lastly, where can people find you or get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the two easiest ways are you can head over to my website, which is elevationequity.pro, or on any of the social media platforms. So it's always at Mitch Hardington REI, and that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I don't have Twitter. I don't have what's the one that's being banned here coming up in the US? The TikTok. I don't have that either. So Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, or my website, or the very last one is you can email me at Mitch, MITCH, at elevationequity.pro.
Okay. Fantastic. And guys, in case you because now it's gone. In case you missed it, I'll put it in the description of the below description of this episode. But yeah, if you got a deal, southernish states, apartment buildings, land, like you heard his buy box, go back, listen to it. Again, if you forgot, but reach out to him. Let's get this guy some deals. I mean, he's only looking at like 5 or 6 a week, right? We need to bump those numbers up.
Yep.
So let's do that. And again, like, I'm not saying take pity on him. It's obvious he couldn't make it as a firefighter. That's why he became a cop. But like, show him some love. All right. We got to back the blue.
Got to back the blue.
So, Mitch, I really appreciate you coming on here and chatting with us. That's pretty much our show. That's all I got.
Well, I appreciate you having me on here, and it was great for me. I got to learn a lot, and I love hanging out with good people who are doing good things. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Appreciate you, man. Well, guys, that's our show. If you liked it, like and subscribe, hit the bell notification. These come out every Monday. Another great episode. And guys, until next Monday, peace be with you. Love you guys. Be safe. Have a wonderful week.